Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a pretty interesting show set up for you. Yep, I was wrong.
I was not exactly right.
I was not expecting Ole Miss to get hammered like they did. They got hit and hit hard. It wasn't over what we talked about the other day, which was this. The media double standard and how Ole Miss threw trash at the Vols in a recent basketball game. And they had done it a couple years back, too. It was even worse. And I had shown you clips of that. I didn't have a good clip of the one that happened earlier because it was a TV one. But this is one where somebody put it on X. It was actually Santiago Vescovia, one of our former players, and he had gotten this from a fellow by the name of Tucker Harlan. I showed you this. And the one that happened the other day wasn't quite that bad. It was over a call they didn't like. And, of course, the Vols had been ripped to shreds by the national media when we threw trash at Lane Kiffin at a football game. Now, that double standard hadn't changed at all. But what I didn't know was going to happen was this huge fine that Ole Miss got, not over throwing the garbage, but over storming the court. And I watched that game. They had a rope set up. And I guess a few people got out there earlier than they were supposed to. I didn't think it was something that deserved a fine, but they got absolutely hammered with a huge fine. And they've got to pay Tennessee that fine. The Rebels were fined $500,000 for fans rushing the court. Said Greg Sankey said Ole Miss athletic director Keith Carter and university leadership, they've been diligent about updating its post-game basketball court access policy. But despite most fans following the instructions to stay off the court, more than enough did not, which forced the conference to act. And then Sankey said, it's disappointing that a small number of fans have created this problem, but the post-game court incursions by fans who disregard the policy violates expectations, blah, 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 competition area policy. Why it was so much, it was Ole Miss' third violation of the policy. The first two were football related in 23 and 24. The first fine was $100,000, then $250,000, then $500,000. So they've now been fined $850,000. And again, that $500,000, they got to send that to Tennessee. I watched that game. I watched the so-called incursion. That did not deserve a $500,000 fine. There's no way. They ought to do something about that because it was not severe. Nobody was ever in any danger or anything like that. The Tennessee Vols weren't. It was really a technicality is what it was. Now, should they be fined for throwing garbage and stuff like that? Probably, yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But $500,000 for either one of those circumstances is way out of line. It's just too much. They ought to be able to have some sort of leniency of how bad it was. Now, if you endanger the players and act like psychopaths, yeah, fine the crap out of them. But if it's something like a few extra people got on there earlier than they were supposed to, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, $500,000, that's what's crazy. Not the fans getting on the court. And one of the things that, look, that's part of the fun of going to the game live is that if you win a huge game, you get to, storm the field or whatever. And that's being taken away in the SEC. They still allow it in all the other conferences, but not in the SEC. And I think it's ever since Tennessee stormed the field against Alabama, we seem to be the poster child for this kind of crap. Because as soon as we do something, it's just completely out of line. How could anybody ever done this in life? So we've got to make an example out of everybody. They did that when we threw the garbage at Lane Kiffin because he was doing all the fake injuries on us. And the media just ripped us to shreds. We were the worst people in the world.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
But when others do it, they don't say anything. But this had nothing to do with the garbage being thrown at us. This was just storming again, that's too much money. So this was a quick video. I wasn't going to spend a ton of time on this, but I wanted to let y'all know that I was definitely wrong about this.
You serious, Clark?
$500,000, that hurts. And you got to give it to your competition, which is Tennessee. Now they've got $500,000. We got $1 million the other day from Nebraska who creeked us. They canceled a home-and-home situation with us, and now we're stuck having to find another Power 4 competitor, which we'll probably have to play on a neutral side. But we've picked up $1.5 million in the last few days from nonsense. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that little button right there. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video. YouTube, thanks, you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.